Hello ladies and gents, I'm the Dapper Rat, and Warlock seems to be tied with Druid for the most infuriating class. Seems like regardless of meta, these two classes are hated, and that's because their base kit is simply unfun to play against for numerous reasons. I've taken my shot at Druid, and so now it's time to tango with their dastardly hated duo. Let's cut to the chase. Warlock's kit is all over the place, with low dexterity and strength, but with weapons, perks, and skills that promote melee combat. High will but low knowledge with really high spell slot cost, making spells seem like a go-to until you realize you're shoved down a single lane of spells to use, and trying to build in order to open up your repertoire almost seems to fall short of leaning into the boring gameplay you've adopted since Squire. I genuinely can't blame Warlocks for running the most toxic setup, because literally any deviation is so bad that to make up for your setbacks with skill is unrealistic for a majority of players. Which also means that Warlock requires the most amount of reworks due to the foundation being so shaky. Curse of Pain and Power of Sacrifice with Torture Mastery is incredibly strong, incredibly boring, and with the addition of magical healing stats and such, are incredibly bullshit. These low-grade spells trivialize the PvE and PvP gameplay, and pushes players to completely forgo armor for move speed, due to their healing being so incredibly good and reliable. The most unfortunate part is that some combinations of these previous spells are essentially required in order to justify using any other spell, and due to this playstyle being so incredibly easy, it often shrouds the rest of Warlock's builds and kits in shadow. Life Drain usually requires the use of Hydra in order to have a reliable source of HP, and those together in lower lobbies essentially locks all of their spells from being used. Shadow Touch often requires the same scaling of magical healing as a Curse of Pain build to make it worthwhile, of which you may as well just use Curse of Pain and Power of Sacrifice. The damage, however, is nice, and overall this perk does push players to be more melee inclined. Both Dark Reflection and Phantomize are counterintuitive by rewarding bad gameplay. Now, to be fair and good faith, these abilities can be used in a strategic manner, but their design proves that it's not the intention, and either way, they are rarely used strategically at all. Blood Pact and Dark Offering, while cool, are often gimmicky, and while some can make them work, the effort and skill required is trumped by the easier path of Curse of Pain and Power of Sacrifice. These are victims of other overpowered kits stealing the limelight. Low base knowledge leads to low spell slots, which leads to restrictions on viable spells, and Soul Collector, while not inherently poor in design, is uniquely overtuned. Trying to justify gaining +5 attributes for the arduous task of killing PvE is crazy. Immortal Lament sees little use due to incredibly high healing output, and Infernal Pledge, Anti-Magic, Malice, and Dark Enhancement are genuinely quite weird as perks but are not inherently destroying the game, and Curse Mastery and Vampirism are fine as is from my POV. So now we got our list of goodish designed perks/skills and our poorly designed ones, as well as issues to address, such as inspiring a variety of builds instead of funneling everyone down a single pipeline. Obviously, our biggest offender is Torture Mastery, as it allows the complete trivialization and standardization of the game, but what if I told you that not only does it not need to change, it actually might not even need to be nerfed? With a new system and slight adjustments, we could potentially fix Torture Mastery, Phantomize, and Dark Reflection while improving Dark Offering, Blood Pact, Shadow Touch, and Immortal Lament. Instead of straight up eliminating health, casting spells or using skills should apply a sort of debuff that for now I'll call Darkness. This means that instead of Summon Hydra costing HP, it will now apply Darkness. This effect will then begin dwindling your HP until it reaches 0. The kicker is that darkness cannot be restored through any sort of healing, and at base kit can only be reduced through sitting at a campfire. Oh, and reaching full darkness will begin burning your player with black fire for 5% of your health pool per second. This change will flip Torture Mastery onto its head, as continuous casting in order to restore HP will eventually result in you running out of HP to heal. But at the same time, casting spells won't open the Warlock up to being one hit, as the health pool is for the most part unaffected, If you have 100 HP, but half of it is affected by darkness, you still have 100 HP. Now, well, that's all good and dandy, but what about Phantom Eyes? Well, realistically, Phantom Eyes could have its cooldown significantly reduced to about 15, maybe 10 seconds if you want to push it, and would now work as an active cast, with each second in Phantom Eyes building up a significant amount of darkness. As for Dark Reflection, it'll essentially be completely reworked to be similar to the Bard's song Tranquility. Resting, whether around a campfire or not, will reduce darkness at a fixed rate, and just like Tranquility, this will work alongside a campfire's regular restorative effects. Blood Pact could adopt the darkness instead of Health Pool Affliction, but this is not necessary and would likely require other tweaks to Blood Pact, but could be a viable change for the future. Dark Offering, however, would benefit greatly from utilizing darkness instead of losing HP, albeit this would require a nerf to applying 15 or 20% darkness instead of the 10% it's currently at due to directly affecting health pool. Shadow Touch could also benefit greatly by simply letting it remove 5 darkness per hit along with its current effects. And finally, Immortal Lament would be reworked to stop darkness from consuming HP unless it completely fills up, of which then you'll begin losing the 5% total HP per second. This will honestly be a really quick segment. Having so few spells on Warlock sucks, especially since Warlock has quite a few cool spells, of which we then queue in Soul Collector. I would strip the Magical Darkness bonus from Soul Collector entirely, as it's essentially unutilized. However, the +1 all attributes per shard collected should stay native to Blood Pact, but +1 vigor per shard would make it worthwhile for skirmish type warlocks, and +1 or 2 spell slots per shard would make it a very nice addition to spellcasting warlocks. This way, knowledge is unaffected, keeping spellcasting speed predictable, but still gives warlocks access to spells. Overall, I think Warlock needs a complete overhaul with how they interact with their spells, allowing a more healthy and easier balance for the game. But I should also say, hello, I'm the editing rat, by the way. A lot of content while making this video has been cut. There was changes for Blood Pact, a bunch of changes for spells, and actually some more changes that I had for Soul Collector, or well, specifically Darkness Shards that I didn't go over in this video, mostly to try and keep it concise and more realistic, because if I just throw a bunch of shit into this video, the likelihood of any one of them getting changed is probably relatively small. So I want to try and keep this video small and concise. So if you guys want a part 2 where I go over those other parts of Warlock's kit and try to make them better with the ideas I have, I'd love to make it. But also, you know, good shit, like and subscribe, and, you know, editing rat, I'll get out of here. Bye bye. Tell me what changes you'd like to see or think Warlock should get, whether it be a buff or a nerf. I've been the Dapper Rat, and as always, farewell ladies and gents.